Laura from How to Get Your Shit Together. Um, if you have been reading the site or you follow me on Instagram, you'll know that I am currently immersed in the process known as the KonMari method. I've written an introductory post, if you're not familiar with it, just kind of explaining what it is, what it's about. So I'm going to link to that in the description box below. So check that out if you're not familiar with the process or with the book. But it is based on this book, The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying, or if you have the American version, it's The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up, just a translation thing. But written by a lady called Marie Kondo, it's basically a decluttering book. She tells you how to declutter, how to get rid of a lot of your belongings. Seems like kind of a normal sized book, but it's actually quite a quick read. So I would definitely recommend it. But there's going to be a post accompanying this video. So if you're watching this on YouTube, or if you haven't read the post that accompanies it, I will link to that in the description box below after that's been posted, which will just be pretty much as soon as I put this up on YouTube. So that will contain, I suppose, facts and figures, how long it took me, before and after pictures. So I would definitely recommend going and reading that post, because I'm not going to bother trying to figure out how to put pictures in videos. My video editing has not advanced that much yet. But I wanted to just explain how I found the process personally. So I'm still in the middle of it. Don't think I've finished it. I certainly haven't, and there's a long way to go. But I have finished the first two categories, which are clothes and books. So I just wanted to kind of give an idea of what it's like. The first thing I'll say is that when you read the book, it does seem like a very, very daunting process. And certainly I was very daunted by it and felt that it would be very overwhelming. But I thought I would give it a go anyway. So I dived in. And the one thing I will say is that it is much, much easier than you think. There were things that I got rid of that I never thought I would let go of. So I definitely think just because you're worried about it or you think that it's just too much to take on, you should still definitely give it a go and see just how easy it is. Maybe not easy, but certainly a lot less stressful than you would initially imagine. So the first category was clothes, which I have finished. So I'm just going to talk about clothes now, and then I will do books in a later video. But for now, the clothes section, I already knew that I had a lot of clothes, and I have been decluttering for quite a while. So before even reading this book, I thought I had made great strides in reducing the amount of clothing I own, but after going through this process, I realized that I barely made a dent. So I did what she said. I took all of my clothes, put them on a big pile in the bed. My clothes, the first thing I noticed that my clothes are scattered throughout the house. They were everywhere. I think the only room I didn't find clothes belonging to me were the kitchen. And that's only because I had removed clothes from the kitchen about 2 days beforehand. And the utility room where we keep all our cleaning stuff, vacuum cleaners and such like. So yeah, I had clothes everywhere. I had them in my bedroom, my daughter's bedroom, the office, laundry room. There were some in the sitting room. They were everywhere. So gathering together, all in one big pile. I knew the pile would be big, so I can't say that was much of a shock to me. It was more the fact that they were just spread out everywhere. So I started off with clothes. You'll see if you read the book that clothes to her isn't actually limited to items of clothing. It's anything you would wear. So she also includes shoes, bags, jewellery, you know, hats, scarves, things like that. So I started off just with items of clothing. So I did tops, bottoms, suits, dresses, and outerwear, jackets, coats. So yeah, it wasn't that much of a shock to see how much I had. Um, but at the same time, I mean, I definitely knew from looking at it that I could get rid of a significant amount. So the process just for items of clothing for me took me about 7 hours. That sounds like a very, very long time. In that, I'm including, you know, snack breaks, bathroom breaks, things like that. So I wanted it to be a more realistic um, reflection of how long it took. So I did stop in between to eat lunch and things like that. So that's from the time I started going around the house to collect up all my clothes to the time I finished like the last item of clothing. It doesn't include the time it took me to put them away, and I still actually haven't put them all away. So um, I guess it's a continuing process. But I went through, it took me longer probably because I knew I was going to be writing a blog post on it. So I took a lot of pictures throughout the process. I kind of documented a lot of things, wrote some little notes and things. So for you, if you want to do the process, I'm sure it would not take you nearly as long. A friend of mine has recently completed it and it took her 3 hours from start to finish. But again, if you don't have that much time, I mean, I blocked out one whole day for it. If you don't have that much time, I would recommend doing it in smaller chunks. So you could just do your tops maybe. Like I said, I kind of found that I had one whole day to devote to it. So I got that much all over and done with in one go. So yeah, clothes, I got rid of almost half of my clothing. It sounds surprising, but actually, I mean, the process is supposed to be about, I found that the clothes that are left are the clothes that I really, really love. So getting rid of half just meant I was left with the half that I actually really enjoy and the clothes that I love wearing. And it has been eye-opening for me because now when I get dressed in the mornings, I'm not like rooting through all my clothes trying to find something to wear. Everything I have is something that I enjoy wearing. So it has made that process a lot easier. The next subcategory I went on to after that, which I did the following day, I think, maybe 2 days later, was socks and underwear. That took me about an hour. That wasn't too bad. Again, I got rid of just over half of that category. Really eye-opening. I mean, first of all, I had an enormous amount of socks and not nearly as much underwear as I thought. So, and then obviously I purged a lot of that. So now I have to go out and buy some more. But again, I'm going to be buying stuff that I love. Hopefully, that's the idea. But yeah, it was actually eye-opening to me because I thought I had a lot of underwear and it turns out that I hardly have any. And certainly now I'm down to like very bare minimum since this process. So, and I guess it just made me realize that I need to be buying things of a little more quality because I threw out a lot of stuff that was just cheap crap that I picked up. You know, you go and buy like a 5 pack of underwear. Yeah, so I got rid of all of those. So that part was eye-opening for me, that I really need to focus on spending my money on quality items that will last rather than buying loads of cheap items that won't last. So yeah, that was particularly revealing for me. You won't see any pictures of that category in the post because I don't want to put up pictures of my underwear for the world to see. But some people have, so if you want to look at other people's processes, I'm sure you'll see pictures of their knicker drawers, but not mine. So the next subcategory then was bags. I knew I had a few bags. I didn't realize quite how many. I wouldn't consider myself a bag person. Um, so yeah, I was a little surprised. Again, they were spread throughout the house. So I have 37 bags. Um, had 37 bags. The the surprising thing for me in terms of bags was not so much the amount of bags, though I was surprised by the amount of bags. It was the stuff that I found in the bags. Clearly, I come home and just dump a bag somewhere and then completely forget about it. And I know definitely in the book she says you should empty out your bag at the end of the day. And now I see why she says that, because the stuff, and again, I'll put a picture in the post of the stuff that I found in my bags, but I mean, papers, receipts, a pair of gloves, more bags that I had shoved inside other bags, snacks, appointment cards, jewellery, just an insane amount of stuff. So, I mean, none of it was really, really important stuff, but some of it was stuff that I have been looking for for quite a while. So, yes, very eye-opening in that respect. Um, but yes, I went through all my bags. Like I said, 37 of them. 7 of those were kind of little clutch bags. I got rid of half my bags. So I have 19 left. And again, I still think even 19 is a lot. So my plan is to go back once I finish this entire process, to go back and redo it, because I think when you get to the end of the process, and I certainly found that with clothes, I got to the end of the process and then started wearing some of the clothes, and clothes that I actually thought that I loved. When I actually wore them, I realized that they annoyed me in some way. Maybe the tag was itchy, or it was a little bit kind of shorter than I imagined. So even though she doesn't recommend really trying on clothes unless you're not 100% sure about it, I found that after the process, once I had limited it or reduced it down to the clothes that I loved, trying them on then at that point eliminated even more for me. So yes, once I'm finished the process, I will probably go back to the beginning and just make sure that the things I loved back when I started are things that I still love. But yes, half my bags were gone. I then went on to shoes. Again, I knew I had a lot of shoes, but I had done a major shoe declutter around Christmas time, so about 4 months ago, and thought again that I had gotten it down to a sensible amount. Again, when I laid them all out, there were 66 pairs of shoes, and that was the reduced version already. So, also eye opening. I had shoes that I had never even worn, they still had the price stickers on them. Um, and some of them were very similar in style. I have to say, I am a creature of comfort. I generally don't wear really high heels. Kind of about 3.5 inches is the max for me. So, I mean, I had 4-inch shoes that I was never going to wear, and I did love them. I mean, to look at them, they were beautiful, but I was never going to wear them, or if I did, they were always going to cripple me. So I let them go. Again, I got rid of about half of my shoes. I have 36 pairs left. But again, there are shoes that I love and that I do wear. I don't wear all of them on a regular basis. Some of them would be heels that I would, obviously only wear to like weddings or special occasions. But the ones that are left are shoes that I do love. So yes, I think overall I did have more stuff than I thought I did, especially because I had already decluttered a lot of it. Um, to find that I still had a huge amount was pretty eye-opening for me. Um, and for someone who doesn't really consider themselves into bags or into shoes, that was a lot. There was a lot there, much more than I thought. Um, the next subcategory for me was kind of scarves, hats, belts, swimwear, and workout gear. I went through that very quickly. That was a very quick category for me. It only took me about half an hour. I don't have that much stuff there, so that was very quick. No real problems there. I don't think I found that difficult at all. I mean, a lot of that is kind of practical stuff. Some of it, like the workout gear, I don't love, but I kept because it's functional. It serves a purpose. So, although I don't even work out that much at all, but when the mood strikes me, I at least have some workout gear there. So I don't have loads of tops. I think I have like one or two workout tops and one or two bottoms, and then just a pair of proper trainers. So I certainly don't have a huge collection there. The final category in the overall clothes category was jewellery. This didn't really take me long either because most of my jewellery was actually in the one place, so it cut down the amount of time I had to go around looking for it all. The vast majority of it, 99% of it, was all in one big jewellery box that I have. It's actually a box for makeup storage, but because I don't wear makeup, or hardly ever, I use the makeup box for jewellery storage. It's massive. It is a massive, massive box. So I had a lot of jewellery just shoved into that. There was some on top of it. There were boxes all around it. It was a big mess of jewellery. Everything was all tangled. Some things were broken. So the process itself was, in terms of jewellery, didn't take me that long to gather it all together, but going through it, because they're all like small pieces as well, like chains that I'm trying to untangle, it was fiddly. So yeah, I didn't really enjoy going through jewellery at all. Again, I counted them. You don't have to do that, but I knew I was going to be writing a post on it, recording a video, so I counted everything. I had 118 pieces of jewellery. So that includes rings, bracelets, necklaces, earrings. Some things I counted as one, so I have a set of bracelets that's supposed to be worn as one, like it's a few different thin bangles. I just counted that as one set. So yeah, again, I got rid of about half. I have 57 items of jewellery left. And again, I think probably when I redo this process, after I've worn a few of them, I can probably get rid of a handful more. So overall, I got rid of about half of my stuff in terms of the clothing category. The amount of space I now have open to me is pretty phenomenal. Like I said, getting dressed in the morning, so much easier. Laundry, so much easier. Just I don't have to go around looking for things. You know, that kind of cliche of, you know, like a wardrobe full of clothes, nothing to wear. That is no longer true for me. I mean, it's still full of clothes, but all the clothes that are there are clothes that I want to wear. So yeah, I really, really liked that part of it. It did seem initially to be very daunting, but like I said, when I went through the process, much, much easier than I thought. I got rid of stuff that I never would have thought I would get rid of. You know, even just thinking about it, when I thought about it beforehand, I was kind of like, well, I'm definitely not going to get rid of that. So is there any real point in actually going through it? But when you actually, and part of the process is that you hold everything individually. You go through them all one by one. That's why you pull them all out. You don't just look at your clothes in the wardrobe. You don't just look at your jewellery in the jewellery box. You actually have to take them out and hold them. And it seems kind of airy-fairy, you know, that you would get kind of a vibration or a sense from the clothes. or whatever the item is. But it's actually true. Like I said, I had done a big decluttering process beforehand and thought I had got rid of quite a substantial amount of stuff. Um, and there was some stuff that I thought, oh, I'll never get rid of that. I really love that. But actually, when I took it off the clothes hanger or took it out of the jewellery box or whatever and actually held it, I realised that I did not want to wear it for whatever reason. Maybe it was uncomfortable or wasn't the right length, or there was just something about it that made me not want to wear it. So I just got rid of it. So I have stacks and stacks of stuff now that are waiting to go to their new homes. Some stuff just went straight in the bin. Obviously, I'm not going to donate socks and underwear and things that are broken. But I have a massive amount of clothes that are now hopefully going to bless somebody else. One other thing that I did find throughout the process, in terms of negatives, I suppose, when I got to my bags, with clothes, socks and underwear, after I had finished them, even though I didn't put them back straight away, I knew that they had a place to go. So I had specifically bought a new dresser for the bedroom. I knew that most of my clothes were going to be going back into the dresser, into the dresser, and the rest were going to be going back into the wardrobe. But when I got to bags, I realized I have no storage for bags, and that's why they were everywhere. I just kind of dropped them wherever. So like they'd be on the floor. I had some of them hanging up actually on hangers with some of my clothes. They were just everywhere and they have no real home. So I felt a little bit deflated after bags because I had nowhere to put them back to. And I still don't, but I think now that I've made room in other areas, I can move my bags to somewhere. So for example, I have a desk in my room where it currently houses the big jewellery box I told you about. But I think once I have the dresser set up properly, I will move the jewellery box over to the top of the dresser and then use that desk to store my bags. So I think this process would be great in the sense that, first of all, it will free up a lot of space in my home. It has already freed up a lot of space. I can't believe how much stuff I've gotten rid of. But even like mentally, the mental space, getting dressed in the morning is just so easy. I open the dresser, I pull out clothes. I know straight away whatever it is, I'm going to want to wear it. Whether or not they go together or they match or whatever is a different story. But I know that the clothes that are in there are clothes that I like wearing. So it's not a case of I open the drawer or I open the doors and I'm kind of like, ugh, what am I going to wear? What's clean? What suits me? I don't have that problem anymore. I pick out, say a pair of jeans or something, and then I just find a top that will match it or will go with it. I don't have to worry about, okay, it goes with it, but do I really want to wear it or that kind of thing? I mean, it's just been so easy to get dressed now. Everything has become much easier since doing that category. Like I said, laundry, much, much easier now that I have far fewer clothes. And because I have much more space, I suppose beforehand, this is confession time, but dirty clothes in my house usually end up on the floor. So maybe if I'm having a shower, like I'll just throw my clothes on the floor. Or at the end of the day when I'm getting undressed for bed, those clothes would generally end up on the floor. And I mean, in an ideal world, they would have been either immediately brought to the laundry basket or first thing the next morning they would be brought to the laundry basket. But in reality, that rarely happened. So I would have piles of clothes that were dirty clothes, then piles of clothes that were clean clothes, and invariably it would get to a stage where I didn't even know what was clean and what was dirty anymore. So this process has made that a lot easier. My clothes go straight in the wash and straight into the laundry basket. They don't pile up. There aren't really enough of them to even have a pile anymore. But I would really encourage you to try it. It may seem very daunting to begin with, but when you dive in and get started, it really isn't that overwhelming. And certainly if you do it in subcategories, so if you just do, for example, tops, and then the next day or the next time you have some free time, you do bottoms and you work your way through it that way. It is definitely worth doing. And I will continue to do it. I'm going to complete the whole process. I was worried that I would start and kind of run out of steam or just hate it so much that I gave up. But I really, really enjoy it. I mean, the process of actually doing it, okay, it's not overly thrilling or exciting, but the way you feel afterwards, or even just going through it and getting rid of so much stuff, finding things that you love and that you'd forgotten you had, or finally getting rid of a top or an item of jewellery that you thought you couldn't part with or you wouldn't part with, and then you get rid of it, you just feel lighter. You feel a sense of relief. I put all my jewellery back when I was finished, and now my jewellery box is so clean. I open it up, all my necklaces are right there. I don't have to dig for the one I want. They're all laid out really, really nicely. And it's just so nice to get up in the morning, get dressed, open the jewellery box, and have everything there. At a glance, I can see everything. It has just made my life easier. So I will definitely be continuing it. And I would definitely encourage you to do it. Pick up a copy of the book or get it on your Kindle. I would probably recommend the physical version, but that's because I'm a bit of a book nerd. But it's just easier to mark out the bits that you want to refer back to. You can't really do that with your Kindle. So pick up a copy of the book. It is a really quick read. I mean, size-wise, you might think it's about the same as a novel or something. But there's a lot, the spacing is really good in the book. Big space, and then because there are so many different categories, there's a lot of blank space, different chapters. So, there's actually not that much in the book, even though looking at the number of pages, you might think that there is. So definitely pick it up. It's a New York Times bestseller, so worth it for that alone. I mean, some parts of it are a bit silly, I would think. There is a bit in it where she talks about how your socks are very stressed out from being on your feet all day, being stuck between your foot and your shoe, and how they deserve a rest. That for me was probably just a little bit too far. But overall, I did really enjoy it. Like I said, especially with the socks things, there were some things I turned a blind eye to. But what she does say in it, and again, I was very skeptical of this, but I did try it because I want to try and stick to the process as much as possible. She does say that when you are getting rid of stuff, you should thank it. So if you're getting rid of a jumper, for example, you thank it for, keeping you warm or whatever. Or even if you bought an item of clothing and never wore it, you thank it for kind of the thrill it brought you when you bought it. If somebody gifted it to you, you thank the item of clothing for being a nice gift or whatever, you remember the person who gave it to you. Um, I was very skeptical of that. If you read the book, she's very much into the idea that things have feelings. Um, that's not something I subscribe to, but I did try it for the sake of completeness and being 100% authentic. I did try it, and I have to say it was actually really good. It worked. I said thank you to my clothes. I suppose for me it was more about, it made me remember, times that I had worn it or where I had bought it. So, maybe if I bought it on holidays, it brought back memories of the holiday. Um, if I had worn it to a special occasion, a wedding or a birthday or something, it reminded me of that. Um, so yeah, it was nice just to kind of reminisce and to realize that whatever it was, whatever item it was, had already served its purpose. Um, it did actually make it easier to get rid of stuff. So that is coming from a confirmed skeptic. I am very skeptical of a lot of things. A total cynic. But don't knock it till you've tried it. I did it. I found it very helpful. So hopefully you will, if you're a cynic and a skeptic like me, you will suspend disbelief for a short while. Give it a go. I'm sure you'll find that it will be helpful for you. If you don't, at least you've tried it. But yeah, I would definitely recommend it and the process as a whole. So get the book, read it, um, and start on your own process and reap the benefits, I suppose. I certainly am, and I definitely, like I said, I definitely can plan on continuing. I've just finished my book, so I'm going to do a separate video on that, and videos on the various different categories as I go along. So I hope you'll follow along for those. But yeah, really recommend it, really enjoying it, really seeing a lot of benefits to it, and I'm going to continue. If you have any questions about it, I would say read the links that I'm going to put below. So read my introduction post and then read the post that's going to accompany this video. And then if you still have questions after that, leave them in the comments, or send me a message, on Facebook or something. But I would definitely recommend it. I think everyone should try it, and I think you will definitely be surprised by how beneficial it is. So thanks for watching. Again, sorry about the length. I'm an awful yapper, but I hope it has been helpful. I want to kind of just document the process so that others may find it helpful. They might, if you're hesitant about starting it, maybe seeing a video like this will kind of encourage you to get started. So yeah, I hope it has been helpful and beneficial to somebody, and I hope the process, the KonMari method, will be helpful and beneficial to a lot of people. So get started. Thanks for watching. Bye.